Alright, well, we just got back from E3, still going through the footage for that, but we decided to take a day off to rest. I slept for about 12 hours, I don't know about you. And today was the day we saw Prometheus. Probably, geez, were there any other movies you were more excited about than seeing than Prometheus?
Not really.
Avengers, maybe?
I really wanted to see Avengers, but in terms of anticipation, this one was up there just because of my love for the series.
Yeah, I really think for sci-fi fans, if there were other films that were more highly anticipated than Prometheus, I can't think of one. This is pretty much the number one on my list too for anticipation. And wow, how do we go about saying this? It was even more fueled by the fact that pretty much all of the movie critics that I follow gave it, 4 out of 4 stars or 5 out of 5 stars, perfect ratings. So, could not have gone into this one with more excitement, I think. I mean, other than dressing in costume, but whatever. I don't know. This movie is
fucking offensive.
This movie is a plate of ass. It is astoundingly bad. Just wow. Like, I was not ready for how bad this movie was. Like, I was even ready for it to be kind of disappointing. No. Like, you people say, like, oh, your expectations were too high. No, like, seriously, that was the Star Wars argument where your expectations were too high. No, I was kind of ready for this one to be underwhelming. I didn't think it would be. I thought it'd be pretty good.
Me too. Especially since Rotten Tomatoes has been going down, down, down ever since it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something else. I've been a Ridley Scott apologist as of late. Everyone likes to bash on him. And I like his stuff. Much to the humiliation of me at times. Because just going through his filmography recently, Hannibal, which isn't that bad when you consider that the material it came from was fucking awful. Like, Thomas Harris wrote a terrible novel, but it somehow made an average movie. Kingdom of Heaven.
I like Kingdom of Heaven.
I love Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut.
Yeah.
It's one of the few director's cuts which turns it into in my opinion, a great movie. Not just a very good movie.
Sure.
Robin Hood.
Oh, I hated Robin Hood was a pile of shit.
It's like, I'll even defend Robin Hood in that it's derivative, yes, but just as an action movie,
I declare him to be an outlaw!
Like, it is derivative, but it's not bad. It's not pretty bad. It's pretty. I'm just saying, I'm defending the man. I've been defending him all along.
Okay.
and even up to this point, I'm like, I walked into this theater going like, okay, it's not going to be a masterpiece. I just want it to be an entertaining film. That's all I want from this, is to be an entertaining film. And even with those low standards, I was...
Yeah, so, I noticed the camera's a little crooked. I'm going to fix that in a minute. But, yeah, this was, in the beginning, it was really... I was like, this is a beautiful movie. And that sense never left me, the fact that this is a really gorgeously shot movie with a lot of great effects. But that's where the good stuff ends. I mean, from the beginning I was like, wow, I was riding high. I was like, this is a beautiful movie.
And then I heard people talk.
And then the people started talking, and immediately... There's one moment, and I'll pick it out in a minute, where I immediately was like, oh... And then I got really disappointed, and then it kind of became one of those laughably bad B movies I used to watch. I actually used to review a lot of these. Like, it kind of became one of those Formula B movies, and I was like, this is a really bad movie, but you could dig it on a humor level, where it was kind of like one of those cheesy 80s bad movies. And I was trying to apologize for that. I was like, this is not a great movie, but it's funny. And then it kept going.
And going.
And then it kept going. And so it stopped being funny, and I started getting pissed. And then I actually really started getting like hostile towards this movie. There was one point where I just about jumped up and screamed "fuck you" at this movie. So,
I usually get into films, into the whole world movie experience, and then I get this self-realization with the truly bad movies that I just go, this isn't as good as I thought it would be, and then the excitement just wanes and wanes and wanes, and the movie keeps going and going and going, and suddenly you hit rock bottom and...
Oh. Go ahead.
Fuck.
Yeah, so I may have actually overcorrected. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's the review. From here, to talk about the film, we have to go balls deep into spoilers, so... Yeah.
I guess we can give a little bit more of a...
No. Go ahead.
A spoiler-free, I guess. I hated the characters, with the exception of, like, Idris Elba, who's a pimp, but he's in the movie for, like, 8 minutes.
This is one of those movies where the only reason there's a movie to begin with is because the characters are the stupidest people who were ever born.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal how stupid every one of these characters is.
And unlikable, really.
And hateable, yeah. So, like, they're all assholes. You want to see them all die, and not in that like Freddy Krueger, I want to see them all die way. You're sick of them.
My favorite character is the robot.
And he's essentially an antagonist, so...
Yes, I love the villain more than anyone else.
Because he's the only guy with any kind of pragmatism, essentially, you know, who... He has a definite, clear agenda that doesn't make you want to strangle him. You know, it's not a nice agenda, but it's clear, you know, and he goes about it efficiently and doesn't make any mistakes. Well, one, but, you know... But yeah, the only reason there's a movie is because these characters are all thoroughly incompetent and hateful, and you're not like actively rooting for them to die. You're just sick of them.
And that's what kills the tension in this movie.
Yeah,
and what doesn't make it a horror movie or a thriller or anything like that is you're so pissed off at what these people are doing.
Yeah.
That it's not suspenseful.
Yeah. So it's just after 5 minutes, you just want them to leave. You know, it's just you're just like, go away.
Get out of here.
They're not that kind of funny annoying where you really hope they die. You're just like, I don't want to see them die. I'm just bored of them. You know, just and there's characters who are introduced or you see them at the end, and I'm like, who is that guy? Like, there's this guy, there's like this Asian dude who just hangs out on the ship, and there's like this guy with the Asian dude who's the only name I know him by is the guy who hangs out with the Asian dude, who's completely anonymous. He's like, we're gonna fly the ship, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, from here on out, we pretty much have to rage against this flick, and to do that, we're gonna just tell you the whole movie. So here's the thing: you're gonna see the movie anyway. So like, either go see the movie and come back to this, or if you don't really care about spoilers, just keep watching. But you know, honestly, whether or not we tell you to avoid this movie like the plague, if you're at all an Aliens fan or at all a Ridley Scott fan, you're gonna go see this flick. You know, so
I would have.
Yeah, so if I'd come back and told you this movie's fucking horrible, you wouldn't have believed me. You really wouldn't. You'd have been like, Spoony doesn't like anything, you know. So you go see this movie. No, seriously, I can't believe. I cannot believe how the good reviews this movie has gotten. It's astounding to me.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where I'm being contrarian or I'm hating on something because people are on the bandwagon. You know, people accuse me of that, of hating
4 out of 4, 5 out of 5. They're saying there's nothing this movie could have done better.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and so like
this is the masterpiece.
I get accused a lot of being contrarian or hating things just because people like them. No, I wanted to like this movie. Sure, you have no idea how much I wanted to like this movie because it really did look like a returned form of the two Alien movies that I love. You know, Alien and Alien. So I was like, you know, great. Now, to be fair, this has nothing really to do with. It's set far before any of this crap, I imagine. So like
technically a prequel.
It's technically a prequel, but the series really it's divergent. But you know, it's that kind of feeling. It's that kind of. At least they were promising that kind of movie. And Oreo has a squeaky toy. So yeah. So enter spoilers. it starts off with this archaeological expedition, and they find these cave paintings, and so the cave paintings all feature one similar symbol of essentially like these towering aliens pointing to essentially a star system on the wall. And so, these civilizations, thousands of years removed, separated by thousands of miles, could never have come into contact with each other. All have the same symbol. And so, because of this, they go to the Wayland Corporation, and the president, Mr. Wayland, who I'll get to, believes them that there's some kind of race beyond the stars who engineered the human race, and funds this $1 trillion expedition with the ship called Prometheus. And they send them out there. Here's my first problem. And this becomes a problem right away. Where there's a $1 trillion ship, and it starts off with showing this card detailing the crew. The crew is 17 people. Right away, I'm like, 17? You sent 17 people for first contact. You didn't send a diplomat. You didn't send guards of any kind. There are no soldiers of any kind on this ship.
You sent a stoner geologist.
Yeah, it's all scientists. And now I get that, because this is a science expedition, but to have no safety fallbacks of any variety. Nobody at all qualified for first contact should this arise. No secondary vessels to provide security. No means of emergency contact to Earth in case things go pear-shaped. And they do. You immediately see this expedition is doomed from the beginning. And you keep falling about, well, there is no movie. But there's having no movie, so suspending your disbelief. And then there's just fucking, this would never happen. There's science fiction and there's science bullshit.
But things get worse.
Things get so much worse. Yeah, but right away I'm nitpicking, right? So you've got this expedition. They go down there. Sure enough, they find some kind of structure. So they land their ship down there, and they get inside.
Well, the first point where, like I said, the moment they talked was when they brought it out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My emotions down on this was they get ready for the briefing.
Yeah.
The briefing so that the audience can know what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's two things that happen that were just embarrassing. One is they drag out who's supposed to be Wayland through a holographic message telling them what's going on.
The owner of the company, Mr. Wayland, they bring up this hologram so he can personally tell them how important their mission is. So this big hologram pops up. Holograms, which, by the way, are never seen before or since in any of the other movies that take place in the future. Far in the future, in fact. But anyway.
It turns out it's Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
And he's in the worst old person makeup.
No, it's not the worst.
In years.
But it's very, very obvious old person makeup. Where it looks like Christopher Lambert in this movie called The Quest, where you see the rapper story where they make Christopher Lambert look all droopy and melty and really.
What you mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Christopher Lambert, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, oh jeez, yeah.
Johnny Knoxville was a more convincing old guy in the Jackass movies.
Yeah, he looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme in The Quest or Johnny Knoxville in Jackass 2. So
and immediately going, what the fuck are you doing here, Guy Pearce?
Yeah, so it's strange because you never see Guy Pearce in a younger role because you're thinking, oh, maybe it's a dual role where it's him older and then him younger, and that still wouldn't have made the old makeup good, but it still would have been clear, why they did that. But it's just really it's obviously old person makeup. And you're wondering why did they do this? What was the point of this? Okay, Guy Pearce is a good actor. But you couldn't just find an old guy?
You couldn't bring in Lance Henriksen?
Yeah, you couldn't find anyone who's even a little bit older.
But then they do the briefing, and so you have the two scientists, chucklehead scientists, come up and give their presentation. They're just like, this proves that there were aliens here and that they created us. And the one guy goes, how do you know any of this? Do you have any facts to bring to this? And she says one of the dumbest lines ever in this movie, which is hard to do, but she's just like, "No, I don't, but I believe it."
No,
so
she
that's
says,
good enough.
she says, no, they set it up by saying this female scientist, I forget her name now, Elizabeth, has this kind of troubled past where her father died and her father was a doctor in Africa or something like that, and so she sees a guy who's being carried away to a funeral, and she's like, "Where is he going? Or where do they go? Where do people go when they die?" And he goes, "Well, we call it heaven, but they call it something else." And she's like, "How do you know that's where they go?" And the father says, "Well, that's what they choose to believe." So back to present, she goes, "We don't know what these aliens want, but we believe they engineered us as a species." And the asshole guy with the weird hair goes, "Do you have anything to back that up?" And she goes, "No, but that's what I choose to believe."
Worst scientist ever.
That is not how scientists talk. Okay, that's called jumping to a conclusion or like a completely unsupported hypothesis.
They also said something else that I can't remember too. It's just like he basically equated skepticism with idiocy.
Oh yeah, when they discover the atmosphere is breathable, and she's like, the guy's like, "I'm gonna take my helmet off because the sensor says it's breathable," and she's like, "Don't be stupid. You don't know what else is in the air." And he's like, "Don't be such a skeptic," and like pops his helmet. And I'm like, that's not being a skeptic. That's being prudent and cautious that there's
reasonable.
That there's not some kind of fucking pathogen in the air.
There's not some bacteria or fungus or mold or.
He's like, "Don't be such a skeptic," you know. And sure enough, he dies of an infection. So like that was the moment where when you see the really cheesy old guy makeup on Guy Pearce, where that immediately I kind of start checking out because everything in this movie is so gorgeous. And then there's this complete. It's
such a contrast to everything else.
It's just bad, you know. It's bad and it's unnecessary. It's just not good, you know. So what else? Okay, so then they introduce this really kind of brute force exposition to Charlize Theron, she's not the captain. There was like 3 captains in this movie, right? So the first thing is Mr. Whalen goes up to the 2 scientists and goes, "As far as the mission's concerned, they're in charge."
They're in charge.
Then we meet Charlize Theron, who is obviously the authority figure here. And she starts like beating her chest going, "Me King Kong, me in charge of this mission," you know. And then they start landing the ship, and then the black guy who's in charge of the ship goes, "This is Captain Willis," or something like that. "We're going to land this ship." And I'm like, okay, they're in charge, he's the captain, and Charlize Theron is in charge. Who do we take orders from here? And that's what's funny is that never actually comes into play. Like, I actually thought they were setting up some kind of like a command structure argument where like, I'm in charge of this ship, but I'm in charge of the research, but I'm in charge of the military, something like that. I actually thought that's where they're going with this, and they don't. So there's this. I immediately start like kind of getting confused by the command structure here, and I get confused for no good reason because it never comes up. So we meet Charlize Theron, and so they see that there's obviously alien presence here, and so Charlize calls the scientist into her chambers, and her chambers are the subject of an argument I could spend 15 minutes on right by themselves. So they go into her room, her room. Let's just call it a room. And it's this big, expansive space with a fucking grand piano, this huge hologram wall that's playing classical music. Like it's basically
it has its own bar. It
has a bar. Everything. It's like
should have a barista in the corner.
It's like it really is like a 5-star hotel bedroom, you know. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I like to make sure I'm living in the most comfort. I'm in the best possible place. This place has its own life support.
Safest place possible.
Yeah, safest. It's just like this entire place has its own separate life support." And the scientist is dicking around, and she's like, "Wow, you have this fully functional robotic surgical suite." And she's like, "Yeah, of course. I always want there to be some kind of fail-safe. Like, I always want to be I never want there to be a question of my own safety." And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Very foreshadowed, but okay. So keep this in mind, okay, that they introduce this fully functional robotic surgical suite that can carry out any surgical operation that there is. And keep in mind that Charlize Theron owns this. Okay? We have to establish that as a foundation. We'll come back to this point. Okay? So they go into... Oreo. Hi, Oreo. Oreo didn't see the movie, but she wouldn't have liked it. Okay, so they go down to the ship. They whip off their helmets like fucking idiots. And they start poking around. And they find this enormous chamber.
First they find the engineer.
Okay,
one of the dead engineers. And two of the people go, this is freaking me out. I'm going home.
Yeah,
So they split. And so they open up the chamber, which opens up to the giant rock head and all these little canisters around it.
Yeah, there's like canisters which are very reminiscent of the alien eggs, which I'm guessing that was no mistake. Yeah, so there's this big thing with a big head and the canisters. So they all start going around. And of course, immediately they start fucking with it. You know, they start like poking the jars and shit. And Michael Fassbender, who plays essentially...
Don't touch anything. Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't touch anything. And so immediately the Michael Fassbender, who's the robot essentially of the ship, immediately starts like rubbing his fists on it and like, let's see what this thing is. And immediately, of course, goo starts coming out of the fucking jars. Like this big black, obviously alien horror goo. And he's like, look at this. You know. And so like... He's, of course, very fascinated, but, you know, I'm actually giving Fassbender a little credit because his character is like a robot, so he's, like, not really afraid of infection or anything like that. I'm like, okay. But obviously, like, they start, like, sweating this copious amounts of, like, death oil, and then a storm starts blowing in. And I'm like, and they're like, this storm is really dangerous. It's blowing, like, fucking razor-sharp silica shards, and there's, like, electromagnetic shit, and you don't want to get in there, so we have to get out. So they all get out. And they all evacuate, and they all get in their little dune buggies, and they go back in there, and they take the alien's head, which conveniently was separated from the rest of its body, and they put it in a duffel bag. They put it in this giant Ziploc bag, which they carried with them. And so they put it in this bag, and they drive it back, and there's shenanigans where one of them gets caught outside the storm, but whatever. Then, as soon as they all get back to safety, they cut back to the two guys who left 10 minutes ago, before they went in the chamber. Guess where the two guys are? They're still in the facility.
I almost let out a giant what? In the
No,
theater.
you did. You were like, what? Now, I have to backpedal a little bit. These two guys, who left 10 minutes before everyone else did, are still in the ship, and they're lost. Zoom back about 10 minutes previous to that. They first go in the ship. Everyone's kind of together, and they're going in the ship, and they're like, wow, this place is huge. We could get lost in here. And the guy with the weird hair goes, don't worry, I got this. And he whips out these two, like, red tennis ball things, and he throws them up in the air, and the tennis balls, they start floating, and they start sweeping the whole area with, like, these red laser beams. And then he goes, these things will automatically map the entire facility for us. And so they fly off in opposite directions. And he throws up two more, and they fly off in opposite directions. And they start mapping on their own. They start flying around, and they start sweeping the place with lasers, and they start mapping the entire area. Okay, so automatically get back on the ship. The entire place is slowly but surely getting mapped, like a video game. Okay, so 10 minutes go by. The same guys go, we're leaving. And they leave. 10 minutes after that, they're still in there, and they're lost. And I remind you, these are the guys who had the computer-graphic robot mapping balls that he could read on his, like, wrist console. He's the guy with the map.
Not just that, but there's a guy on the ship who sees everyone on the giant map, and so if they said, we want to get out of here, he could very easily give them directions to go out.
The captain, by the way, also has the map and is watching them. So not only is the guy with the map lost, but the guy overseeing the mission, watching the guys, watching the map, doesn't even realize that they're lost until the storm has blown over them. Because he literally goes, wait, there's two guys missing. Where are they? Boop, boop. The fuck you guys doing in there? And they're like, we're lost and scared.
It was a Kevin moment.
Yeah. Kevin! So now they're lost. And you know these guys are dead meat.
Yeah.
So immediately, this is where it gets funny. This is where I really started laughing.
It was when it was getting surreal. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
They're getting high in their suits. I'm like, what is this, Friday the 13th in space?
We're skipping ahead a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that happens is the captain goes, well, it's getting cold in there, so you might as well put your helmets on and just try to ride the storm out. Okay, they go, that's a good idea. So they put their helmets on and they try to ride the storm out. Then, like, 5 minutes later, the captain goes, hey, one of these robot drones that you sent out is detecting a life form about a click to the west. You two better go check it out. And they go, no! And the captain goes, but I'm the captain.
No.
And the two guys go, no!
No, what happens is, he goes, hey, you know how I said you guys were alone down there?
Yeah.
You're not. There's a life form. It's showing there. It's about a click west of you. And he's like, oh no, it's gone. Must be a glitch. And they're just like, wait, where is this? We don't want to be anywhere near it. And he's just like, oh, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Have a nice night.
It's kind of funny how that conversation develops, because we both kind of had it half right. He goes, wait guys, you're not alone down there. There's a life form. You better go check it out. And they go, fuck you! So, like, right away, the first question, why did the captain send these two assholes to go check out the life form they don't know what it is? Like, unarmed, unequipped, and stupid. Right? So not exactly the best combination. So, like, okay, let's send the fucking geologist to go investigate the life form. Okay, right away, stupid. The two stupid guys actually wisely decide not to go check it out. And then the captain goes, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, it's gone. It
must be a glitch.
That was a glitch. Your fucking robot doesn't know a life form from...
Have a good night's sleep.
Then he's like, good night, guys, good luck! Ah!
I'm like, man, Idris Elba's a dick.
So, they go the opposite direction of the alien thing, which is the only smart thing anyone ever does in this movie. But guess where they go? They go right back to the room with the giant head and the thousands of oily fucking sweating death containers that are obviously like some kind of fucking alien egg. Okay? So, then they go there and decide, this is where we're gonna sleep.
We're gonna sleep here, and we're gonna get high here.
And, yeah, the guy with the weird hair has somehow, like, got a hookah in his spacesuit. I don't know. So, like...
Then...
So, this is... What's funny is, this is even more obviously a bad place to stay than when they left it. Okay? Because not only are the alien jars, like, sweating this death goo, it is now, like, in an active, flowing stream.
They're now in a pool.
There's a pool of the shit, and it's, like, writhing and, like, making weird bubbly noises, like, and they're like, no, let's chill out here. This is a good place to sleep. And
it gets dumber.
It gets dumber!
Because then, this snake comes through the water,
yeah,
which looks like a giant alien penis.
Yeah, okay, well, it looks like, first I was like, Dianoga! Because, so, like, from Star Wars, when the eye pops up, it's like, so, like, okay, so go ahead.
It's got the shaft and the balls.
Yeah.
And it's sticking up out of the water. And the one guy's reaction... Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy who saw a dead alien and was like, I'm freaking out about this. He sees this giant dong come out of the water.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, so I'll reenact this for you. I know we're stating the obvious again, but this guy sees an alien, goes, oh, shit, fuck this. And just before when the captain talks to them, they're standing in front of this pile of alien bodies, and they're freaked the fuck out by this. There's like literally like a
dead fossilized aliens. There's a mountain of them.
A 12-foot pile of these dead aliens, and they're like, "Oh shit, man, this is fucked up. This place is, we're gonna die here, man." And then the captain tells them to go. So like, okay, so they go in this room with the jars, and then literally a translucent, pale, 6-foot alien penis pops up out of the water. It's like it's got the fucking head, like, and it's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And this guy, no shit, he's like, look, have you ever seen anything like this? It's beautiful.
And as if that wasn't enough, the alien still gives it warning, because the balls on this thing pop open.
Yeah, okay.
And it gives an alien.
Yeah, so like this is the alien dong, okay? This is the church. This is the steeple. The alien dong is like, and the guy's like, it's beautiful. Look at this thing. And then it goes.
That's pretty much the universal sign that it doesn't like you, and you should get away. Like, on what scenario do they think this would turn out to be a good thing?
Okay, so this thing, it goes, and the guy there's this big orchestra sting, and he goes like, ah! And the guy's like, dude, let's get out of here, right?
He's like, no, I got this.
And he's like, no. It's okay. Isn't it amazing?
What?
And then it eats his face. And no, he's like, no. He reaches out to touch it. He's like, hello, alien penis. Hi. Oh, you're a cute little penis, aren't you?
I've never seen hentai in my life.
Oh, you're a cute little alien dong. Hello. Hello. How are
So it gets around his arm, breaks it Steven Seagal style.
Yeah.
And then rips open his suit, goes inside, goes full deep throat.
Yeah, deep throats him.
And meanwhile, the other guy tries cutting it off, and like a weak acid hits him, and he goes face first into one of the canisters.
Yeah, he falls face down in the alien sludge, which of course kills him. But yeah, I still have to go into the alien thing. Okay, so like the alien thing wraps around his arm, and he's like, oh, it's squeezing, oh shit! It bites him in the hand, which I'm sure is bad. So he's like the other guy who's the stoner. He's kind of like floating around as the he's kind of like hovering around trying to get a look at what's going on. Like this thing is around his arm, fucking squeezing him, and he's just kind of like, dude, are you okay? Dude, whoa, dude, it bit you, dude. The fucking alien dong like leapt out and bit you, man. And he's like, cut it off! Cut it off! So like he cuts it off, he gets sprayed with the acid. The thing like jumps in his suit and fucking literally mouth rapes him and kills him. And then the other guy gets his face melted by the alien sludge. So they're dead. Yeah.
So we never see anything else about that.
No, we do. Not the snake one, but we see the face melted guy.
No, that was the guy that Fassbender even.
No. Oh, was it? The guy who set on fire?
Yeah.
Wow, he was strong then. Okay. Yeah. Well, they turn over one body because they found one and they turned him over, and then the guy got sick. Okay, anyway, so much stupid is happening. I have to rewind again. Okay, rewind a bit before all this shit happens. Before the storm, they're in there and they see these jars. Okay, and Fassbender is like stroking the shaft of the jars, and he's like, hey, goo is coming out when I fucking pump it up and down like this. And they're like, dude, they actually don't tell him to collect it, and they're like, don't touch. He's like, what, like this? I think it likes it. You know, so like he eventually, they take the shit back to the ship. So he puts one of the things in the bag and they go back to the ship. Okay, so now we're at present time. So now we got two things. We got the alien jar and the alien head. All right. So first thing, the alien head. Go ahead.
Oh no, just go.
Okay, so they get the alien head. By the way, decontamination procedures? What the hell is that?
They're not very good scientists.
No, they run a scanner over it, and they go, the computer goes, no contaminants, and they're like, good enough for me. So they
let's not wear masks.
No eye protection. No masks, none of that shit. No gloves. I'd be surprised. If I went back and said they're probably wearing gloves, but I'd be stunned. So they go back there, and they just like plop the fucker on a table. And they're like, wow, this is an authentic alien head. This is crazy shit, right?
Then they pull this idea right out of their ass. Yeah. They're like, maybe we can make it talk if we shoot electrodes into it.
They look at its head and they're like, you see this shit? There's like this brown moving shit on his fucking head. This is like fucking alien psoriasis or some shit.
And then Then they pull out the futuristic car battery.
Yeah, they get
attach it to his neck, and they're just like, crank it up.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, they got this. There's this weird pulsing alien Black Death shit on his head. Let's make it do stuff. Yeah, by the way, no contaminants. Fuck you. So like, they take this charge thing, and they're like, what use does this thing have? Like it's like it's supposed to be better. They got like this fucking Wiimote, okay? They got like this Wiimote with a needle on the end, and they're like, put the thing in its nervous system thing, and they're like, so they jam it in there, and they're like, okay, now give it 30 amps, and they're like, boop, 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 boop. And the alien head starts going like, and it like starts, its head starts like pulsing, and the alien Black Death shit is like seeping out of his head, and they're like, 40!
Like, oh, that's not good. Maybe we should put it under the hood.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, that's not good. Maybe we better like pull the fucking electrode out. And of course they pull it out, and it's still going. And so like, they're like, let's put it under glass. So they like shove the fucker in like this sterile hood or something like that, and then the head explodes like it's something from fucking
Scanners or something.
Double Dare. Like it explodes with like this radioactive green glowing shit. And I'm like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Not very good scientists.
We had one fucking alien head, and somehow you blew it up.
Then they do a sample which says, this is 100% match. This is human.
Yeah, it goes. They have this computer which they go. Oh, let's do the DNA sampling. So they analyze it, and they go. So it goes alien sample, and then they go. Let's do the human sample now. Human sample from where? So they go, and so like, of course, they do this thing where like the computer goes, and it like lines them up, and it goes, identical match to human.
No. Can you explain to me how a 15-foot, 400-pound albino is a human?
If their DNA matched up exactly, then why
Wouldn't
are
they look like us?
Why are these fucking like pasty white muscle-bound 13-foot motherfuckers?
They're like Kratos.
Yeah, they do look like Kratos. So like,
they're like 15-foot Kratoses.
It doesn't make any sense. And like, okay, so they blow up the alien head, which you'd think actually would be rather hard, considering these things are like 35,000 years old. I don't know, just me. Not very good scientists, you know.
No.
I don't even know what they were hoping to accomplish here, especially considering they actually found like an active life form on the thing's fucking scalp, and their first instinct is to like electrocute it.
Well, we cut to the other douchebag scientist, the guy, and he's like moping, and Fassbender goes up. And
yeah, we have to go back here. Hang on. So the slide before this, he opens up the jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fassbender opens up the jar, which is like an alien egg, by the way, and he just sticks his fist in there. He's like. He pulls this fucking thing out, and it looks like a lava lamp, kind of. You know, so he's like at this. It's like a shard of kryptonite, really. It's like a full of like obviously like nuclear green shit with like black flakes of badness in it, and he like flips it over. And then his first instinct is to like pop the top off it and like stick his finger in. Okay, so go ahead. So
he's talking with the scientist, like, why are you down? He's just like, we never got to talk to the aliens.
Yeah,
and he's like. But it's the greatest scientific discovery of all time. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, he discovered true alien life and, you know, science well beyond our reckoning. And the guy's like, whatever. I just wanted to talk to him.
Thought talking to an alien would be cool.
So Fassbender goes, here, drink this vodka.
And he totally sticks his finger in.
So he infects the idiot with vodka laced with the alien goo, basically just to see what happens.
Why not?
Why not? Well, who gives a fuck, right? So
then he goes off to have sex.
Yeah. So
with
the
girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, that's a Rooney Mara?
That's no, it's the original.
Oh, the original. Okay. I was like, I didn't think I recognized Rooney Mara. So yeah. So basically, the two scientists are boyfriend and girlfriend, so like they fuck, and they like the storm passes, and they decide they're gonna go back and go look for the two guys they pretty much got killed. By the way, still not deciding to carry any weapons.
Yeah.
Still not. Because conveniently the storm cut out their cameras when they got eaten by the alien penis. Right? I'm guessing.
I don't know. The script's not that good.
Alright, no, it's not. So, like, they go back into the base, and they go back to the place with all the vases. They find the dead body, and by now, the male scientist guy, not David, I don't even know his name, because fuck it, I didn't care. The male scientist guy, a little bit before this, he, like, wakes up in the morning before they're about to go, and he's like, oh, I feel like shit. So, like, he's looking in the mirror, and his eyes are all bloodshot, and, like, little alien, like, there's a big jump scare where, like, an alien fucking worm, like, flies out of his eyeball, and he's like, ah! And, like, does he bother to tell anyone about this? Of course not. Why would they?
Why would they need to know?
Why would they need to know that I've been infected with some alien plague?
It's not like he could get medical treatment on board that shit. Oh.
No, it's not like we have a doctor on board or a fully functional surgical suite. And now it wouldn't have helped him. But, like, you'd think you'd tell somebody.
But his instinct is like, maybe I can ride this out.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just let this ride.
Maybe it's a 24-hour alien.
It's not. So, like, the guy goes down there and immediately starts looking like shit. And he's like, he stumbles over, and the Elizabeth, like, looks and his eyes are all fucking red and, like, alien shit. And she's like, are you sick? He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And she's like, okay. And then he falls over, like, shortly afterwards, and he's, like, got all those weird alien veins going on. And eventually they're like, oh, shit, we gotta go back. So they go back to the ship, and he's looking like shit. And Charlize Theron's there with a flamethrower. Probably the only second prudent move ever made in this movie, where she's like, everyone's on the ship except that guy. And he's like, what? And so she sets him on fire.
Don't you have a heart?
Yeah.
And she goes, no, I've seen these kind of movies. I know how it turns out.
Right, so, like... But, yeah, the scientist is like, don't you... Like, where's your humanity? Where's your humanity? Like, Oreo, come here. Go ahead, I'm going to take the squeaky toy.
So, eventually the male scientist is just like, you know what, kill me. She goes, okay.
Yeah, so we're supposed to feel bad, I think, that, like, she wouldn't let him on the ship, even though he's obviously turning into, like, this alien freak show, and he's already started, like, throwing people around.
I felt joy.
Yeah, like they're trying to help him up, and he's, like, his voice is all feral, and he, like, shoulder throws a guy away, like, Aah! So, like, I'm like, dude, kill the guy. So they kill the guy, and
everyone's in decontamination now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what's next. Everyone's going through decontamination, and Fassbender... Actually, I've seen... This is where this became a movie that I liked a lot better, actually. So, the female scientist is on a table, and Fassbender is, like, running a scanner over, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you did order us to go through, like, a full decontamination and blood work, so we're running it on you. And he goes, I have to ask, did you and Alien Boy do it? Oreo, stop crying. So she's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, they're going here, aren't they? So he runs the scanner over her abdomen, and she's pregnant. He's like, but you're 3 months pregnant. And she's like, that's not possible. And of course, she's been fucked with an alien fetus now, right? And he's like, wow, that sucks. And she's like, get the fucking thing out of me! He's like, I'm a robot, not a doctor. And she's like, get this fucking thing out of me!
Just get a coat hanger, goddammit.
Oh, that's bad. No. But she's like, get the fucking thing out of me! And he's like, calm down. Oreo, please, would you get another toy? Oh, you want the squeaky bone. I took her squeaky bone away, and now she's inconsolable. I'm a monster, I know. She's crying. Would you find something else to abuse her, please? Yeah, get her a rawhide shoe. Okay, so he goes like, calm down. Yes, there's an alien horror inside of you, but guess what? We're gonna fix this. I'm gonna knock you out on more drugs to kill a soccer team, and we're gonna put, and then we're gonna put you in cryostasis, so you're gonna sleep it out. You're gonna be fine. So that's what he does. He knocks her out, and then 2 doctors come, and they're like, we're going to take good care of you. And of course, she's got like freak alien strength now. She's like, ah! And she thrashes out of the fucking medical bay, and she starts running through the ship. And she's like, get this fucking thing out of here! And she's like, her stomach is all like writhing because there's alien shit in her. And, okay, a few things. First, this reminded me of a far better movie that is exactly like one of those kind of really bad movies from the 80s that I was kind of thinking this movie was originally about. Okay, there's a movie called Creature, which is like the most unimaginative alien movie title ever. But it was
Alien.
Yeah, but it was one of those. It was kind of one of those alien knockoffs called Creature, and it's basically the same thing, except this alien could infect you. And so the hero of this movie is essentially this woman who gets raped by the alien, and so this whole movie she's kind of gestating this alien fetus inside of her, and so she kind of gets corrupted by it, so where she really wants to preserve it, like the alien has a so she's like she becomes an alien giving birth to another alien, so now she's on the alien side. So this whole it's this kind of body horror movie where it's about this woman with this alien pregnancy, and so as the alien grows, she gets more powerful, and people are getting killed by a pregnant woman. It's kind of fucked up. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on here, where she's like running through the... They made a whole movie about that, basically, where she's running through the ship, and she's like, I know what I'll do. If you remember, Charlize Theron has a lifeboat, or this room, and in the room there's this robotic surgical thing that can perform any operation, right? Was I alone in this?
Nope.
Okay, so she goes into the surgical suite because apparently Charlize doesn't keep her room locked.
No.
She's only the captain of the she's one of the captains of the ship. I don't know. So she goes in there and she starts mashing on the pad, and it's like, please state the nature of your medical emergency.
I want a cesarean.
And she's like, I need a cesarean, like right fucking now. And this is great. I did not expect this. The surgical unit goes, I'm sorry, this unit is only programmed to service male patients. Please seek medical attention immediately.
Which it might have been an interesting twist if you found out Charlize Theron had a dick.
Yeah, actually, I was like, is that a plot point? Is like Charlize Theron kind of a dude?
Oh my god, Charlize is a guy.
Yeah, I was like, did we just pull a sleepaway camp here? Like, no, that's not what it is. So like, immediately I'm like, what? The surgical unit is only programmed for men. Because it would have been so much harder to program female operations, or the female anatomy in this robot. But the real question is, why would Charlize Theron have a surgical unit in her room programmed only to service male patients? What?
Maybe she did have a dick. I don't know.
Deep Wang! Like, it doesn't. It makes less than no sense. It's like,
But I figure I would have heard about it because she and Idris Elba went to get it on, and something tells me that if Idris Elba had a crying game experience, you'd
just seen it. Yeah. You just
You'd be like, listen, folks.
okay.
This
So
is more fucked up than anything going on in that ship.
or maybe he swings that way. I don't know. But like, weird. Like,
So she instead goes like, okay, not a cesarean. There's a foreign body in my
yeah.
in my
There's
stomach.
a foreign invasive body, massive abdominal trauma. Just
get it out.
Get it out. So she gets in the fucking surgical suite, jamming fucking syringes into her thighs, like she's from fucking, what game do you do that a lot in? Like fucking BioShock. She's like, so she's jamming fucking needles into her flesh. And she gets down there and she gets kind of situated in the surgical unit, alright? So, then immediately, like, I'm laughing. I'm just laughing uproariously in the theater. And in fact, a lot of people were laughing in the theater.
Because it got worse.
It gets so much dumber.
Because she gets in the pod, and these robot arms just immediately cut her open.
Well, no. They first off, the surgical unit doesn't detect that she's a woman. Which you'd think would be kind of one of the basic operations for a unit that's programmed only to service men. It doesn't detect that she obviously has woman parts.
But trust me, it's worse because it's doing surgery on this person.
Major invasive surgery.
Major surgery, and it doesn't knock her out.
No, it puts a local on her stomach, and then this like whips her open with a laser.
It just zips her open, grabs these giant tongs, goes in, yanks it out.
Yanks her fucking uterus out. And then there's like this alien fucking squid penis
just
thing.
Leaves it dangling up there.
Leaves it hanging up here.
She has to grab the umbilical cord like it's a tag on her shirt and just rip it.
Yeah, it's like she rips this thing out of her body like it's a fucking loose string on your t-shirt. She's like,
ah! She pulls it out enough. Yeah, it's a loose string on her shirt. And she just, ooh! That's the point. I am just falling in the aisles laughing. Just how ridiculous this all is. And then it takes a staple gun.
Yeah,
there's no internal damage that needs to get fixed. No.
It just takes this big fuck off staple gun and is like, she's like, ah! This thing is not programmed to administer general anesthetic at all.
There's no internal injuries.
It doesn't even like give her like a rawhide stick and is like bite down on this.
There's no internal injuries. You could just staple her back up.
No, you can just whip out a woman's fucking uterus and staple the bitch. That's a cesarean. That's how medicine works, right?
Right.
So I'm just rolling. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. How does the machine not know this? Alright, so now she's got this alien fetus like dangling over her face, and it's like some kind of squid.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It's a squid thing.
Okay, so it's like thrashing around, and she flops out of the surgical unit. She's just had like 4 pounds of shit ripped out of her stomach, and she's probably got massive internal bleeding. But no, she's running through the ship, and she's like, oh god, my fucking eyes. So I'm like, well, you had a bad day, right? So she runs the fuck out of there. And she just kind of stumbles into a room where she sees Mr. Wayland, who, this was actually telegraphed really early on, I think, where she's like, Fassbender's like talking to him or some shit. Anyway, so Mr. Wayland, who's like really old and decrepit right now, is actually on the ship, and nobody knew about this. So nobody offers to help her up or like help her get major medical care. They're just like, yeah, you're good. How you doing? I don't know, pretty good. I just had a cesarean that was like basically like a coat hanger job in a back alley. Thanks, I'm good. So Mr. Whalen's like, oh, the reason we came here is because I'm dying, and I want to talk to my creator before I die. So we're going. Alright, we're going. So they go, and they put Mr. Whalen, who still looks fucking ridiculous in his old age makeup.
But she's like, there's only death there, and he's just like, so?
Yeah.
She's like, but, and he goes, well, you want to come too? And she's like,
okay,
all right.
Yeah. So, like, she's, like, everyone, even Fassbender, who's, like, working with Mr. Whalen this whole time, knows that, like, there's just weird fuck-off alien shit in there. It turns into fucking penises and, like...
Which there's no explanation as to why Fassbender infected the guy scientist, or why he was really interested...
Except to see what happens, really.
Or why he was interested in the squid baby inside of...
She never mentions the squid baby to anybody. She'd be like, look, there's weird shit down there. I just pulled like a 6-pound squid fucking thing out of me. Now, she doesn't bring that up.
There's no explanation for it. It's just like, well...
And by the way, this whole movie, the second half of the movie, she is running around with massive abdominal trauma. I'm guessing serious abdominal internal bleeding.
Every few steps she gives like and whatever.
And she has just brute force, no education whatsoever, just jammed syringes full of anonymous, unidentified painkillers into her thighs. Like literally 5 syringes worth. She is just like fucking shotgunned into her body. She's popping painkillers like crazy. Does she act at all stoned? No. She acts perfectly lucid and rational this whole time when she should just be fucking singing. She should be so stoned. Because I've been on general anesthesia. I've been on some hardcore painkillers before. you're not in any mood to go running around dealing with shit. You just either want to sleep or just kind of fool around and watch TV. I don't care if there is an alien menace. She should be so high at this point that she shouldn't even be moving. That's another minor nitpick, that she shouldn't even be walking at this point. No, she should be in intensive care. So they put Mr. Wayland in the mantis suit.
We both said the same thing.
Yeah.
Mantis.
Yeah, so they put him in like this powered, not armor, but like a powered suit that lets him walk. To which I would just ask, why don't you just wheel him? Like, put him in a wheelchair and wheel him around. I don't know. So they go there, and there's an alien that's still alive. It's in like a stasis pod, a lot like the human stasis pods. And so they pop the fucking thing open, and they're all gathered around, and Waylon is like, let's ask it. I don't even remember. Like, ask it if it can save me. Ask it if it can like give me more life. And the scientist is like, ask it where it comes from. Ask it why it made us and why it wants to kill us. And they're like, shut up, you shut up, you shut up. And so like the robot starts talking to it in its own language, and in response, the alien like picks him up, snaps his neck, rips his head off, and like kicks it like a fucking soccer ball. And then it kills everyone else. So I'm like, wow, that was anticlimactic. Fuck you. All right. So somehow the critically injured, stoned off her ass woman manages to outrun the alien beast, who doesn't really chase her, but like somehow manages to get out of the ship, run back to the ship. Like, she's like, seriously, she was.
Well, no, during this time, for some reason, again, the scientists decide to open up the doors, and they see the burned scientist from earlier, and they're just like, let's see if anything has changed with him.
Yeah. So they hear something. They're like, I hear something out there. So they open the door, and they see the charred to a fucking crisp guy who turned into an alien. And it's looking right at him. Like, it's probably dead, but it's like kind of like curled up in a ball, like on all fours, kind of looking at him. So what's the dumbest thing you could possibly think of doing aside from just like jumping on it and having sex with it? He approaches it and like nudges it with his foot, like a fucking dunce. So of course he nudges it with his boot. The fucking alien dude leaps up and like it like punches his fist through his head, right? So like the other dudes, they come out with guns and they start shooting it. It's impervious to bullets. It kills all of them. And eventually I think they like set it on fire and kill it again.
They run over it.
And they run over it with a fucking truck. But like the idiots, every move these guys make, stupid. Oreo. She is incorrigible. So yeah, the
Kratos gets in the chair and is getting ready to fly the ship out of there.
Yeah, Kratos gets in the chair and the ship starts to lift off. And so Elizabeth is outside of the ship and she tells the pilot, this thing is heading towards Earth and it's gonna... Somehow they know that it's gonna drop like chemical bombs on Earth and kill everyone. I guess. And they're like, so what do you want us to do? We don't have any weapons. Why don't they have any weapons? It would seem like a smart thing to bring on a first contact mission, maybe. I don't know. In fact, that's usually the subplot of a lot of these movies, where like it's an exploration mission, but somebody brought a nuclear bomb just in case. And they usually it's like a race against time to defuse the nuclear bomb. But no, not here. They were just straight up with this alien thing. Okay, so they crash the ship into the alien ship, and they all die. Now here's the funny thing: Charlize Theron is on the ship, and she's not down with this plan. She's like,
we'll nobly sacrifice ourselves for the good of humanity. And she's like, I didn't sign up for this shit.
Yeah, Charlize is like, fuck that, we're going back to Earth and we'll deal with it then. I'm not fucking sacrificing nothing. And so the captain's like, hey, you don't like it? There's a life pod back there. You can get in there, fucking life pod. So he's like, you got 40 seconds. So they start to auger the fucking ship in. 40 seconds start to count down. Charlize is putting on a fucking spacesuit, and she gets into like this, almost like a phone booth type of escape pod, and
her quarters were the escape pod.
Yeah,
it was its own separate system, and then it just pops off the ship for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, for some reason there's so many. I was actually asking the questions to you as this was going on. I'm like, Okay, this is the sequence of events. She's like, we're not crashing into nothing. Captain says, get on a lifeboat if you want to. And she's like, okay, I will. So she gets into the life pod, phone booth sized, pops out of the ship. Okay? Now, why would her first instinct not be to go to the lifeboat with, every possible convenience, a separate life support system, a surgical unit? Why would she not go there? She set that up specifically so she could go there in the event things went bad. No. She goes to this life pod and launches out and crashes on the surface of the alien planet with a highly toxic atmosphere. Then, as the ship is crashing, the lifeboat pops off and crashes. I don't know. I don't understand any of this, because they actually, they established this. They're like, because they're going to get in this thing at some point, right? This life, okay, I get it. You're going to go in this thing at some point. The surgery is going to come into play. Okay. Now, before you get started, I know there's an alien in the lifeboat. I know that. Charlize doesn't know that. Okay? So, it would have actually made sense if Charlize goes, fuck you guys, I'm going to go to my lifeboat. Goes in the lifeboat, alien eats her face, off she goes. That makes sense. And seriously, it's not like she was intended for something greater in this movie, because she pops out of the escape pod, emerges on the alien planet's surface, and then the spaceship falls on her. So, it's not like we developed anything plot-wise or character-wise with this. It would have been just as well had she gone on the lifeboat and gotten eaten.
I mean, that...
in fact, the
almost would have been comical, but at that point I was so pissed off that why didn't she just get killed some other way?
Yeah, I mean the only purpose the life pod sequence served was to confuse us. There's no other reason for it. Because it's actually something she would not do, given the obvious logical choice she had a much more comfortable lifeboat. It makes zero sense. So, the ships, they crash together and they both collapse on the fucking surface of the planet, and... Oh, this is where we get stupid. Okay. The only survivor is Elizabeth, the female doctor, scientist character. Okay. Now, we forgot to mention a fairly major character element to Elizabeth here. The fact that she carries this, she wears this gold cross around her neck, because faith is a major element of this character, from her father explaining, everyone has their own gods, but we believe in this. So, the entire time she's very protective of this cross. From the moment when she's in the surgical unit and Fassbender wants to take off her necklace, she's like, "No, I don't want to." And, everyone kind of comments that she has it. And Fassbender's actually very fascinated by this thing. Every conversation he has with her is so, you're encountering aliens. How does this fit in with your typical Judeo-Christian beliefs, right? And so he's actually, he wants to understand this. I kind of want to understand it too, because honestly, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But, she's kind of passed out. She's tired on the alien planet, and she's like, I can't do it anymore. And then the Fassbender gets on a radio, because he's a robot. Even though had his head ripped off, he can still talk. And so he's like, are you still alive? Are you still there? And she's like, yeah. Well, no, she goes to the lifeboat first. Okay, so she goes to the lifeboat. She goes to the lifeboat, which crashed on the planet as well.
She notices blood next to the life pod, which isn't ever a good thing, and so she comes up, and it's a giant tentacly thing.
Yeah, this thing got huge. This thing got filled the room. This fucking alien sex tentacle beast.
And then Kratos pops in, because why not?
Because he somehow survived the spaceship crash.
He survived and has a thing for Elizabeth. And so he tries killing her, and she opens up the door, and the tentacle thing does more hentai stuff to...
What's funny is Fassbender warns her. He's like, are you in the lifeboat? You got to get out because it's coming for you. Why? So yeah, the alien goes in there, meets the other alien, and the big alien kills the Kratos alien, and of course fucks it in the mouth, so it's gonna give birth eventually to the traditional alien we see in the movie Alien. I said alien a lot. So yeah, so the lifeboat isn't safe because there's that big fucking alien in it, which is essentially like it's really like let's say a 2,000-pound face hugger, which is really what it turned into. So she escapes from there, and then Fassbender says, are you still alive? Oh, good. Could you help me out? I had my head ripped off. By the way, there's other spaceships on this planet. I can fly a spaceship back to Earth for you. And she goes, okay. So she goes, gets his head, and the head kind of rolls over and looks at her and sees she's still wearing the golden cross and goes, after all this time, you still believe, don't you? And she's like, damn straight I do. And that was the point where I just about jumped up and yelled, fuck you. Because this whole... I know they were trying to raise some kind of specter of, like, science versus religion bullshit, which they never really got anywhere in that argument. Because, honestly, it honestly makes the Jesus freak look stupid. Because Jesus in no way had anything to do with what's going on here. Like, nothing. She wasn't saved by some kind of hand of God. Nothing miraculous happened on this entire trip. Quite the opposite, in fact. And in no way is her faith ever rewarded in this entire movie. In no way.
Plus the fact that alien creationism kind of kills the idea of this Judeo-Christian God creating them.
Yeah. So, the existence of aliens pretty much precludes the entire thesis of Christianity. It's God created man in his image according to the Bible. So what the fuck? This. There's no way this fits in. So honestly, at the first sight of aliens, you'd think she'd whip the fucking cross off and throw it in the fucking gutter.
But they're 100% human.
But they're 100%
DNA sample.
Bullshit. So
this philosophy is taught by 5-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, it's this movie that... Oreo, please. Oreo's getting restless, so we're going to have to wrap it up pretty quick here. It's this movie that thinks it's so much smarter and deeper than it really is.
But it's so much dumber.
It's way dumber. The characters are way dumber. This movie has nothing to say, nothing to show us, and nothing interesting to explore. Arthur C. Clarke. If you ever read the Rama series of Arthur C. Clarke novels, it's on its face kind of similar to this, where they find signs of an alien civilization, and this team of astronauts goes there to contact essentially their makers. They basically go there to meet God, who's an alien. So that entire novel series is about the crisis of faith and the crisis of science that these characters go through as they're on this lifelong journey across the solar system to meet who may well have engineered the human race and every other sentient race in the galaxy who they also meet. I was like, if a better writer had gotten a hold of this story, like Arthur C. Clarke, this would have been a really fascinating movie. Instead, they were content just to make it an alien creature feature with nothing substantive to say, and in fact is actively insulting to the intelligence of anyone who tries to think about it critically. Am I far off?
It's an insult to anyone that actually does try to think about these issues, these philosophical and theological issues.
Because they're weighty issues. They're issues worth exploring. In a smarter movie, they might well have explored that, but instead they think by just bringing the issue up and then actively contradicting it, that it's somehow deep. And it's not. It's just dumb. It's a very pretty, well-shot, stupid fucking movie.
Let's talk about another Ridley Scott movie, Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And how the themes were about consciousness and the idea of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the concept of what is a soul, the concept of what it's like to meet one's creator, and how disappointing that in fact can be.
Yes, and in this movie, it's It's David is asking her about why are you still believing in this, and she gives this. Well, you're just a robot, so you don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, when in fact this robot has.
Please, I think the robot is more human and has more of a soul than you, lady.
And if that was in fact the point we were supposed to get from this movie, I might actually applaud it for having some focus there. But that's not the point. That's not it. I mean, I was like, a smarter filmmaker might have made a better movie exploring that very feature. Where, in fact, there's several moments where there's that ingenious thought kind of peeks its head out, where David is like, why did you? He asked the scientist, well, why did humans create me? And the guy goes, because we could. And the robot says, well, imagine how disappointed you'd be if you met your creator and he said that. And that was like really the best part of the movie, I thought, was that conversation. Now, did they do anything with it? I honestly think that scene kind of happened by mistake. The scene of that brilliance basically was accidental.
Well, we're seeing two different Ridley Scotts. One was subtle and brilliant. The other was ham-fisted and retarded.
Yeah. So, honest to God, guys, I there was never a movie I wanted to like more that I hated more, except, really going back to Star Wars. Remarkably bad. Colossally bad. Will probably go down as one of the worst movies I've seen this year. Definitely the biggest letdown so far I've seen this year. It's definitely a lock for the most disappointing flick I've seen all year.
Yes.
By far. But I really don't think anything is going to top that.
I mean, there's going to be technically worse movies or movies that... But if we're talking about expectations and how much it pissed me off, then this one is going to be a contender. There shouldn't be any ones that piss me off worse. I hope not.
Incredibly bad. My advice: do not see this movie. I wouldn't even see it just to laugh at it, because it's unwatchably bad. If I were not
to go on forever.
If I were not kind of committed to watching the movie to watch it to review it, I probably would have walked out. It's that bad. I saw people walking out. People walked out of this movie. I saw 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I saw just by the end people were laughing. By the time the alien came out, you could swear it was almost a comedy.
Yeah.
What should have been the, oh god, this is so fucking awesome. Yeah. It was like, I'd never heard, I mean, it was just, people were just humiliated that they were watching what was on screen.
Yeah, there were people walking out, or they were pretty much howls with derisive laughter, especially near the end. The surgical scene was hilarious. It really, honestly, it was probably more hilarious than the scene in Breaking Dawn. The cesarean scene in Breaking Dawn. We've actually seen 2 movies now with like the most hilarious surgical scenes, both involving the removal of a fetus.
Somehow a vampire biting off the uterus.
There was more sound surgical technique in that scene.
That was more, I don't know what, but it wasn't as stupid.
It was not.
It shouldn't have been.
No, it was not, in fact, as stupid, because they were actually like, there was like a natural anesthetic in the vampire venom, so like, I'm not saying much more. I'm saying, that much. At least Edward could tell the difference between a man and a woman. At least one hopes. Yeah. Just wow. This is us stunned. We cannot believe. Any closing thoughts?
I didn't think it could be that bad.
I didn't either, really. And I mean, this is a guy who saw Alien Resurrection. This is a guy who saw Alien vs. Predator. This is worse. It looked pretty, but it's way worse. It's beyond bad. It's insulting. That's really what it comes down to. Where like, it's not that funny kind of bad. It goes past that funny kind of bad and just you get pissed off. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Avoid this movie. I hate to be that guy, but avoid it at all costs. See you next time, guys.